This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Here now, Tony Bruschi.
You ever notice how the louder someone insists they didn't get a fair shot, the less believable they sound? That's the air Charlie Adelson is breathing right now. The stale oxygen of privilege and deflection. A man convicted of orchestrating the murder of Florida state law professor Dan Markel isn't fighting for innocence. He's fighting for a redo. His lawyers say Tallahassee was too biased, too loud, too poisoned by headlines to ever give him a fair shot. But the state of Florida, they're done listening. On the same night, his mother, Donna Adelson, was convicted of the same crimes. The Attorney General's office quietly dropped a 57-page response just before midnight. Symbolic, surgical. And it may seal the final chapter of this family's legal saga. Let's rewind in case you're just kind of catching up. Maybe you didn't even know about Charlie. Maybe you just caught up when you started hearing about Donna. Well, there's a whole other chapter or two or three before the Donna one. In 2014, Dan Markel, a 41-year-old law professor, was shot in his own driveway. The motive? A custody battle gone nuclear. His ex-wife, Wendy Adelson, wanted to move their sons to South Florida, and a judge said no. And that no became a vendetta. Over years, investigators uncovered the pieces. 2 hitmen, 1 go-between, and payments that traced straight back to the Adelson orbit. Charlie was the smooth-talking Miami dentist. He ended up at the center. He was convicted in 2023 and got life in prison. His mother followed 2 years later. Same verdict, same sentence. Now, Charlie's in a South Dakota cell trying to claw his way back through the appellate system. And here's where things stand. His appeal sits with Florida's First District Court of Appeal. His legal team filed it in May of 25, claiming his trial was unfair. The state filed its reply in early September, and within hours of Donna's conviction. Let's just finish up all of our paperwork here while we're at it, right? Charlie's central claim: he couldn't get a fair trial in Tallahassee because the jury pool was tainted by media coverage. But when the judge asked him directly at the end of the selection, "Do you accept this jury?" Charlie Adelson, "Yes, Your Honor." That one word, yes, may sink the entire appeal, because under Florida law, if you don't renew a venue motion after the jury's picked, you waive it. You can't complain about the crowd after you've taken the field. So the state's first line of defense was simple: you waived it. They also noted his motion was never filed properly. Where's his attorneys from? Was this another one from another crematory down the road? No affidavits, no certificate, just an off-the-cuff oral request by a New York jury consultant who thought Tallahassee was too small. Judge Stephen Everett denied it, gave the defense a chance to renew later, and they didn't. Game over on that issue. The state went further, arguing the media coverage wasn't inflammatory, it was mainstream. CNN, ABC, Fox, WCTV, Tallahassee Democrat. Hardly a smear campaign. Translation: you can't call it bias when it's just people reporting what you did. Charlie's team also claims the court wrongly excluded hundreds of normal text messages with his then-girlfriend, Catherine McBonna. Messages, they say, showed an everyday relationship, not a criminal conspiracy. But the state points out those texts were from June of 2014, not July, the month of the murder, and the defense never properly introduced them at trial. No proffer, no record, no review. End of argument. The defense adds that the court excluded statements about how extortion works that would have helped their theory. The state's answer: hearsay, irrelevant, and again, never preserved. And by the time they close with cumulative error, the appeal reads less like legal argument and more like grasping at air. It's impossible to miss the timing. The state dropped its filing the same day Donna Adelson heard, "You're guilty." Hours apart, one family, two verdicts, two appeals. And the prosecution's message here, you can file all the paperwork you want. The evidence is not going anywhere. Donna will likely echo the same complaints in her own appeal, but she, too, accepted her jury. When asked if she approved of the panel, she looked at her lawyer, shrugged, and said, yes. Just like that. I don't know. I'm just, I'm assuming. Same word, different courtroom, same outcome, waiting. Right now, Charlie's lawyers have until November 5th to file a reply. After that, the appellate judges decide whether to hold oral arguments or just rule on the briefs. And if they affirm the case is closed, if they reverse, that's a long shot. Not saying it couldn't happen. Stranger things have. It could be a new trial. But the law and the record both favor affirmation. So if you're a betting person, you know where your odds are. The court already cited precedent from the Gary Michael Hilton case, same district, same rule, failed to renew a venue motion, and you've abandoned it. That's exactly what the state is relying on here. For people outside the courtroom bubble, appeals sound like a chance at freedom. They're not. They're audits. No new witnesses, no fresh evidence, just judges flipping through transcripts asking, did the trial follow the rules? And unless the answer is a clear no, the conviction stands. So when Charlie's attorneys re-argue the same fairness points, they're not moving the needle, because in appellate law, procedure is everything. But beneath the legal briefs, there's a deeper story about power, image, and denial. The Adelsons spent years trying to choreograph outcomes. First with money, then with manipulation, now through litigation. Wendy tried to rebrand herself as a misunderstood ex-wife. Donna nearly escaped to Vietnam before deputies stopped her at the airport. And Charlie, he's still playing chess from a prison cell, pretending the board isn't already cleared. The appeal isn't about justice, it's about control. A last-ditch attempt to steer the narrative they can't actually rewrite. And here's the irony. The same family that weaponized the media is now blaming it. Charlie says he couldn't get a fair trial because too many people had heard his name. But why had they heard it? Because he helped engineer a murder so deliberate it captivated the county. He's not a victim of publicity. He's the reason for it. Psychologically, it tracks. When narcissists lose control, because let's not forget, all roads lead to narcissism in true crime. When narcissists lose control, they rewrite the story. The appeal becomes a stage to prove the system is not the problem, but the record, the audio, the phone logs, the bank withdrawals. It all tells the truth no script can spin. The jury in Tallahassee wasn't angry. It was attentive. The coverage wasn't gossip, it was reporting. And Judge Everett ran a methodical, by-the-book trial. He really did. And we've seen a lot of judges where you could make arguments other ways. This isn't that. This isn't persecution. It's called process. And just because you don't like the process, because what you did looks really, really icky to most human beings, doesn't mean you get a redo. I know in the world of Charlie, that's probably shocking because God knows what he was conditioned with as Donna Adelson as his mother and Harvey as dad. I'm guessing there was a lot of, well, you can do whatever you want, Charlie. Are you mad? Oh, poor Charlie. Let's give him another chance. Let's give him the participation trophy. That's how you end up being a shitty dentist and you end up calling your practice an institute. Make it sound great on paper, even though we're a clusterfuck. Statistically, Charlie's odds are microscopic. Florida appellate courts rarely overturn first-degree murder convictions unless they're blatant misconduct or new evidence. Neither applies here. What this appeal really does is telegraph strategy for Donna's next move. The same venue argument, the same media complaint, the same uphill climb, but both mother and son already locked themselves in when they told the judge yes. You can't call the game rigged after you shake the ref's hand. What makes the story powerful isn't just legal precedent, it's what it says about consequence. The Adelsons lived by control, and they lost it, and now they're flailing. And every motion they file now is another attempt to reclaim it. But appeals aren't therapy, and the courts don't rewrite history for comfort. Charlie Adelson wasn't undone by bias. He was undone by evidence and by his own arrogance. So where does it end? Well, he sits in that prison, waiting for appellate judges who already have everything they need. His attorneys will file one more brief in the First District Court of Appeal. It'll issue its ruling. If the past is prologue, the word will be simple: affirmed. Because in Florida, justice may crawl, but it doesn't stop. And when it finally catches up, even the loudest appeals can't drown it out. It isn't about venue. It's about accountability. And the clock on that already ran out. What do you think? Should Charlie get a second chance? I mean, look at him. Oh, he looks like he didn't get his cookie at snack time. Oh, let's give him an extra one, right? Or lock him in the box. Lock him in the box to rot away and keep him away from the rest of society. Narcissists are dangerous people. They are dangerous, dangerous human beings. Not really fit to be out with the rest of the world. And when you finally catch one and put it in the box, you keep it there. Just like Mom, just like Charlie. And who knows? There's plenty of boxes to put more Adelsons in. Stay tuned. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section on YouTube. Just search Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. You will find us there. Do that same search wherever you get podcasts, and you will find us as well. And take us along wherever you go. Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. We do greatly appreciate when you hit that subscribe button, so please do. Until next time, I'm Tony Bruschi. We'll talk again real soon.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.